Hello everybody, my name is Rolo and today we're reading more Reddit stories. So if that's your cup of tea, please do like and subscribe and let's get into today's stories. So our first story comes from the user Throwaway Secret 0 with the title, "My brother-in-law is making claims that he knows my secret and I don't understand. My brother-in-law, 30 male, is my sister's, 29 female, husband. We live on opposite sides of the country and my sister and I aren't that close. So I'd say that we don't know each other very well. We see each other at family gatherings maybe a few times a year and he's always come off as a very average kind of quiet guy. Around 2 months ago, I received a text from him out of the blue. It wasn't to check up on me or asking how I'm doing. The message said he's aware of what's going on, but that there was no need for me to worry and he'd keep it hush hush. I wrote a quick message back asking what on earth he meant, but all I received back was another reassurance that I had nothing to worry about and that he was on my side. At that point, I gave up and assumed it was some weird joke, even though my brother-in-law has always been pretty serious. Recently, I was in a Zoom call with my parents and sister. The first thing my sister asked when she saw me was, "Are you going to tell everyone the truth or just my husband?" Obviously, I was confused and I mentioned the text message brother-in-law sent me, but my sister still seemed angry at me and I have no idea why. The next day, I called up my brother-in-law and asked him what the hell is going on with this. He was very cagey on the phone and just kept repeating rhetorical questions back at me like, "Do you know what's going on?" I'll admit that I lost my temper at one point and snapped at him, since he wasn't giving me any answers. That was a bad idea, since this morning I got a new text from brother-in-law telling me that he'd tried to do me a favor that I clearly don't appreciate. He mentioned, "We'll see what happens this weekend," which is the next time we're all meeting for a late Thanksgiving. Honestly, I'm terrified. The thing is, I have no idea what secret my brother-in-law could possibly be talking about. I don't live a very exciting life and I mostly keep to myself. There's still a part of me that's scared of whatever truth he says he's about to reveal, even though I don't think I've done anything wrong. What do I do? This situation is extremely confusing, especially the suddenness of it. Just very random, you're not close to your sister or brother-in-law, and he's suddenly doing this. And then on a Zoom meeting, your sister is angry about whatever this secret is. To me, it feels like brother-in-law has done something, and to cover his own ass, he's turned around and told the sister that, "Oh, I'm covering for OP and blah blah blah," and then he sent those texts to corroborate that story that he's made up, and that's why he can't give you straight answers because you haven't done anything. It's just his lie. But that's just my theory. A Reddit theory. But let's jump into the top comments and see what they think before jumping straight into the update so we can find out what the hell is going on. Not Epiphany says, "My first thought was that you might have a vindictive ex who posted nudes of you online or something, but that shouldn't make your sister mad at you. Unless she's mad that her husband went looking for nudes online and it's easier to be mad at you than him. Second thought is that there's a porn actor out there that looks kind of like you and he thinks he has blackmail material because he's an idiot. In any case, since your brother-in-law is clearly devoted to being an arse, call your sister. What the hell is your idiot husband doing? He's been sending me messages for months about keeping some secret quiet. I have no fucking idea what he's talking about, but it sounds like he told you. So would you mind cluing me in?" Untitled 33 says, "Rumors and more. Talk to your sister. Tell her you have no idea what's going on, for her to find out and tell you before the get-together. Otherwise, the way things are stacked, you might be walking into a road side bomb situation." To which OP responds, "It's going to be hard to talk to them. My family and I aren't close at all, and growing up, I always took the blame for everything that went wrong in our house. I'm really scared that my parents will believe whatever my brother-in-law tells them because I'm the troublemaker of the family." So OP does come in with the update around about 2 weeks later. "Hi everyone. Just before Thanksgiving, I posted about my brother-in-law harassing me over a secret. Well, Thanksgiving came and I was terrified. I almost backed out entirely and stayed in bed all day instead of going to the Zoom meeting. I did end up going in the end, and the first 20 minutes were incredibly awkward. My family and I aren't really compatible at the best of times, but there were silences that lasted minutes. Eventually, my mother gave in and said, "We'd better get this over with." I've never been more terrified in my life. I somehow snapped my phone case in half because I was fidgeting with things because I was nervous. My brother-in-law started talking about how he'd tried to keep my secret for me, but I clearly wasn't grateful. And then he told everyone, "You should know that she's gay." Everything got really awkward again, except for a different reason. My whole family already knows I'm gay. I have no idea how brother-in-law never found out before now. I don't get on with my family, but me being gay has never been one of our issues. It's something nobody bothers me about, and we don't talk about it. My sister lost it with him immediately and said, "Really? This is what you've been going on about?" We ended up ending the Zoom call very early since my parents decided they were tired, but I think they both just didn't want to deal with this anymore and were sick of me and brother-in-law. I've decided to block brother-in-law's number in my phone since other than this, we had no messages anyway, and I'm not going to be visiting my sister anytime soon. Oh, okay, so the big secret was that you're gay. But, plot twist, your whole family already knew. Okay, fantastic. What was his plan with this? What about if your family was not accepting of your gayness and that just nuked your entire relationship with them? Or put you in danger with them? He outed you on a Thanksgiving Zoom call? Is this guy okay? Like, genuinely, what's wrong with him? No words. No thoughts. I'm just baffled, really. I don't know. Anyway, all's well that ends well, I guess. I mean, at least it wasn't a bad situation for you being outed like that, which it very well could have been. But yeah, probably best to keep brother-in-law out of your life, because who knows what the heck he was planning to do with that information, because why be so cryptic and try to like make you worried that he has something on you? Just don't bother with him. You're not close with the family. It doesn't seem like it's a loss on your part. But what would you do in OP's situation? Do you have any comments on what you think brother-in-law was planning? Any ideas why he would have done what he did? Leave them in the comments below so I can see all your theories. And let's move on to another story. Now our next story actually comes from the I Don't Work Here Lady subreddit from the user newad9142 with the title, "If everyone is gonna think I work here anyway, I might as well start getting paid." About 2.5 years ago, I got really into thrifting. I love the thrill of the hunt and occasionally finding cute little treasures to put on my trinket shelves. Even better if I find something I needed to buy anyway for a better price. I started visiting thrift stores so often, I got very familiar with all of my local thrifts layouts. I'm not much interested in clothes, I just want to look at household stuff, and thrifts are usually set up so that all of the household things are in the back of the store. As a result, I usually walk quickly through the front of the store straight to the decor aisle. I guess walking quickly and confidently through a thrift store is enough to make it look like you work there, because all of a sudden I started getting, "Do you work here?" at every single thrift I went to. The first time it happened, it was my day off and I was thrift hopping as a fun activity on my day off. Just going from store to store looking for frog figurines and brass decor. The first store of the day, I squeezed by a woman in an aisle and I heard her say, hello? I continued walking because I didn't realize she was talking to me. That's when I heard her say louder, "Wait, excuse me." I stopped and turned around to look at her, very confused, when she asks, "You work here, don't you?" I kinda laugh and go, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I don't." She was embarrassed. She apologized. I thought that was a silly little thing and moved on with my life, thinking that was the end of it. Then I went to the next store and the same thing happened. I passed by a man who asked me if I worked there and I told him no and moved on. At the next store, I came and browsed and shopped without incident. Then, as I was leaving, like I literally had one foot out of the door, a young teenage boy and girl came up to me and asked me when the store closed. I said, I'm pretty sure they close at 9. The boy sort of looked at me like I was being silly and asked, isn't that something you should know? If it weren't for my previous 2 interactions, I honestly would have been confused by this. But at this point, my brain was already in I don't work here mode. So I assumed he thought I was an employee too and said, sorry, I don't work here. The boy looked like he wanted to die, while the girl just laughed at him and I exited the store. For the next several weeks, every time I visited a thrift, no matter if it was a Goodwill, Salvation Army, a local place, or anywhere else, someone would inevitably ask me if I worked there. At first, I stuck to my I don't work here answer, but it started happening so much from so many different people, I finally just started rolling with it. Where's the sales colour? It's green today. Where would I find silverware? Same place as the pots and pans, back of the store, 3rd aisle from the left. Did you guys test this computer? So many electronics get donated, there's no way every single one can get tested. But there's a power strip right over there if you'd like to test it yourself. It happened at every thrift store and only at thrift stores. I didn't get it at the grocery stores or at restaurants or anywhere else. Only thrifts. Finally I figured, what the heck, apparently I'm good at this, let's give it a shot, and applied to the closest local thrift store to where I was living. I was interviewed and hired on the spot, starting out as a cashier, and within 2 weeks, I was in the back of the store pricing household items. After just a couple of days of pricing, my manager told me, you're good at your job, like really good. I got a raise the next week. Within a few months, I was promoted to a team lead and had been given several raises. I will have been working as a team lead at this store for 2 years in January, and I am loving it. I get to see every single item that comes through, and I never miss seeing a fun treasure, and love uniting these beautiful pre-loved pieces with someone who will cherish it. I have a job I love that I hope to be working for many more years to come, and it all started with the silly question most people dread. Do you work here? Honestly, I didn't expect this to be such a heartwarming story from OP here, but the fact that they just thought, oh, I'm getting asked, I may as well work here and answer these questions for some money, and the fact that they managed to progress so quickly and this is clearly something they love and they're passionate about is just something you don't see often these days, and I'm so happy for OP. That's great! Now let's see what the comments think. Commercial Letter 252 says, this is how I started working at Lowe's. I was in the store all the time and I found I was helping other customers all the time. I decided if I was helping customers, I might as well get paid. 20 years later, I still help those customers. A Scapulus says, so now you do work there. Nicely done. And a final comment from Webmacker which says, sometimes the best place to try for a job is where you happen to hang out. I almost fell into a job at a computer store by accident this way. I helped an obviously confused woman at a Comp USA way back in the day, and the manager was watching me from a short distance, and he heard me play 20 questions with her and recommend a specific package of MS Office that would best suit what she both wanted and needed to do. She thanked me profusely and went up front to the cashier with the box I'd recommended. If I remember correctly, something like $500 at the time. It was one of the Office business bundles. He was all, do you have a job? To which I replied, nope. To which he countered, want one? Poor guy was willing to hire me right then and there because I insta-sold a pricey software package, and since I've been a computer geek since 1981, I knew a thing or two. But alas, 'twas not to be. I was in southern Florida visiting relatives and lived in Atlanta at the time. Manager was a total sad panda when I explained this to him. So what about you guys? Do you have any stories like this where you ended up getting a job because you went there often or you hung around there? Or do you know stories of other people who've been in this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and that's where we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!